Hey everybody, Asher here, back with more Heroes of the Storm, where today Kael'Thas got the Nerf bat, or the bug fix bat, or some kind of bat. Certainly, his build has changed a little bit, so let's talk about that briefly before we dive into a game. Pretty much, the lowdown is that Kael'Thas's talent Chain Bomb was fundamentally changed. Now, how it used to work is that Living Bomb, when you cast it, it creates an explosion. When you get the Chain Bomb talent at level 13, that explosion spreads Living Bombs to anybody that gets hit by that explosion. Now, how the talent used to work, especially when combined with Ignite, which would give Living Bombs to heroes with Flame Strike, is that you would cast Living Bomb on somebody. You could cast Living Bomb on them again to explode. That would spread Living Bombs to everybody around them. When those bombs explode, it would spread around again. You could cast Flame Strike to apply another Living Bomb. Make those explode. Chain Bomb, once you hit level 13 with Kael'Thas in your party, pretty much your goal is to initiate fights as fast as you can. Obviously not with Kael'Thas initiating, but you want your team to go in and really maximize Kael'Thas's ability to get the chain bombs off, because that is a huge damage spike, and he can really control the late game with just pouring on damage. The change, and I think it's a valid one, I think it's a good one, to be honest here, is that Chain Bomb only works now with the initial Living Bomb that you actually physically cast. So Living Bombs that are procced by the Chain Bomb talent or by Ignite will no longer spread the same way. Some people have lamented this as being a huge substantial nerf, and why would they bring that in just when they reduced his gold cost to 10,000. We saw the same thing with Thrall, where they changed his talents from being really not quite balanced to bring him back down after the initial new wore off. But conspiracy theory or tinfoil hats aside, I do think it is a valid change, and what it means is that a lot of people are pointing to flamethrower as being the go-to talent at level 13 now. Flamethrower was a good talent even before, because Kael'Thas is so squishy and doesn't have a very good escape mechanism for when things get bad until level 20 with Bolt of the Storm, which honestly is a talent I don't usually take with him. But Ignite is good enough to where it spreads Living Bombs, and then Flamethrower lets you poke from much further away. And because Kael'Thas is squishy, having that extra range really helps with your positioning as well. So what we're going to do today is look at a replay with Kael'Thas, and I'm going to be taking the Chain Bomb build because I want to see how has the damage changed. Now granted, we'll be looking at one game, and games vary from game to game, but let's go ahead and dive into the replay. Alright, here we are. It is Tomb of the Spider Queen, and here are the teams, just so you know. I'm playing as Kael'Thas. We have Zagara, Myrddin, Diablo, and Malfurion as my allies versus the Lost Vikings, Vala, Zagara, Lili, and Jaina. This is a quick match. So let's go ahead and just get the replay started. I say hello team, just trying to be pleasant as normal here. Now my goal as Kael'Thas early is still to try and lane with somebody who can peel off things. That includes Diablo, that includes Myrddin. So really anybody who can tank here. And then we see right away, because this is quick match, everybody's just like, let's pile into the mid lane because we want to be friends together. Now there's some things to look out for in this match. Is Zagara, I had this Zagara player that I played with last night. He was pretty on top of things the whole time, and we'll see that a little bit throughout the game. But we have Malfurion in the top lane, Zagara and Myrddin in this lane, and here I am laning with Diablo. So that's kind of what I want, because Diablo is great at initiating fights and can actually bring people back into position. It's a little annoying that we have Jaina and Zagara in this lane, because Zagara can do a lot of work here. But my goal here early is still just to harass, like there is no tomorrow. And my favorite way to harass is by casting D to get my Verdant Spears up, and then Living Bomb. Living Bomb still spreads a lot of damage, it does a lot of work, and the most important thing is that when you D with Living Bomb, it makes it cost no mana, which is pretty awesome. So we have Diablo right here getting chased down by Jaina. And while Diablo has a lot of health later on, you're going to see right here that Jaina just does enough damage to get him in. Now the early game here, your biggest goal, unless of course you're the Lost Vikings, I guess, is to not die. And right now we're in a good position because we have the top lane to ourselves. And the Lost Vikings player is keeping them all together instead of spreading them out, which is a little unusual, but hey, it's not free Lost Vikings week anymore, so the people that are playing are the people that have them. So right now it's me versus these two, and one thing that I've learned with Kael'Thas is that you don't always want to use Flame Strike to push the lane forward. You want to be able to escape back behind your towers if at all possible. And we see right up here that they're already trying to turn in It's 6 gems. You don't have to turn them in that early, but you see I living bomb again, so I put it on both of them. It spreads it a little bit, and the goal here is I don't necessarily want to take everybody out right away, but I do want to deny gems. And Mr. Fun Pants, you stayed in a little bit too long. Jaina has the same problem Kael'Thas has earlier, except because she has slows, she can escape better, but Jaina dies to practically anything. So here's Zagara trying to get her stuff turned in again. And that's really the point of Tomb of the Spider Queen, is you want to get your gems turned in, obviously. But there is another kill right there. Good job. So Zagara down. We're up a few kills. 3.75 to 2 kills at this point. Now remember, the Lost Vikings count as a quarter kill per kill, and I end up porting because I got knocked down in my life really hard. But one thing that I try and do is just communicate to my team, mostly with ping, sometimes by typing, just in terms of what's going on. But once again, Lost Vikings in the center lane. They're Murden up there just jumping. Or that's our Murden. Why was I saying they're Murden? They do not have a Murden. They, in fact, do not have a warrior at all on their team. So we should be a little better with team fights just to try and initiate. But they have a lot of damage. Now, I pinged the siege camp down here because I think it's a good idea to try and take it. But the Diablo in the lane is just contesting a lane, which is fine. At this point, it's level 4 versus level 5. Big thing was that I wanted to at least try and get some pressure and deny them the other things here. So, and when I say the other things, I mean they have to contest these instead of just being able to stay in lane. But once again, because it's quick match, here's experience that's just disappearing. El Alpha is the name here. At least going back to take care of those. And that's a sign of a good player who can actually look around and see both of these. But unfortunately, despite the fact that we have been gathering experience in 3 lanes, we're not really up anywhere right now. As Murden having to use his leap to escape. Lily coming down to support Zagara, which kind of changed the dynamic of the lane a little bit. I liked it better when it was Jaina, because Lily just heals things and it makes it a little bit tougher for me. Now Zagara, if you're solo laning against Zagara, you got to do something about the Hydralisk. My plan is just to get back towards the towers a little bit, and she did not take the talent that destroys ammo. Most of Zagara's don't. I can actually pause to look at the talents real quick, because we're on a replay view. This is Zagara. Well, there's ours. Health Restoration from Creep. There's Zagara. Demolitionist. Oh, it does destroy ammo, so she did take that one after all. So I should have been more mindful and checked that during the match. So there we go. But my talent build so far about the same as always. Mana Addict into Gathering Power. I used to be a little more unsure about taking Gathering Power, but to be honest, if you're just trying not to die, Gathering Power is awesome to take. In addition, because the Lost Vikings are there, Gathering Power has a little extra oomph to it. So it's all very good. Now this is risky for me. I don't want to go in there with such low health. But Diablo's finally on the way back. So while we can't take out Zagara, once again we're able to contest the lane. I'm trying to get as many health globes as possible because of the Mana Addict talent. But there is Lily again. I'm still waiting for this freaking fountain. And I'm standing here, presumably doing something important. But just one quick little flame strike. Once again, I just want to keep pinging up damage as much as possible. And I don't want to push the lane out too far. Although, once again, Zagara, because she took the Demolitionist talent, and because I've been letting the towers do some of the work, my towers are now dry. So here's Diablo again, and here's the thing with Diablo. He has some really good abilities for actually starting team fights. So as Diablo players, the best Diablo players I've seen are the ones that know when to pick their spots and know when to charge in. And right now Zagara is just able to turn in with impunity. I'm moving up here to try and help with what I thought was an important team fight. So unfortunately, this is me conceding the bottom lane right now. Once it looked like things are okay, even though we really just went 1 for 1. Kind of figure out a little quickly, maybe I should turn in my gems, maybe I should get back down here. Because right now, she just has the tower. And unencumbered Zagara with no problems whatsoever, that's bad. So you can see there's the W living bomb again. And I have to get back because all those little minions and creep spawns and everything do a lot of damage. So we have to worry about the turn-ins here. Lost Vikings are all turning in. and they get the spiders first. Now, I've found of all of the maps, at least in my opinion, Tomb of the Spider Queen kind of has the weakest map objective, or the least important map objective. And I think part of the interesting thing is that because the gems are tied to creeps more so than like actual things on the map, like the dragon shrines or even little base camps with coins, we just gotta really watch this year. And I thought for a while, okay, we got the turn in, and this is where my poor map presence makes me realize I'm going way too hard, because we in fact did not get it. So Zagar's already pushed the bottom lane here. I ask for one per lane, and at least Diablo's roaming, and there's a good initiation of a fight, but there's a few towers down up there. Zagar's already done the work down here, so I drink from the fountain while it's still alive, and I cast Living Bomb because that's what you do when you're Kael'Thas. All I'm trying to do is just defend the lane as best as possible. At least the keep is still there, and the towers all have everything, so I can let them do some work. So this is pretty good defensive cleanup. But here's our other team fights down here. Each team has one healer, so we're kind of at the same impasse in terms of you want to be supported, but it's very rare for you in quick matches to get a dual support comp. But if we do look at the stats right now, is they do have a talent advantage. They did get the level 10 first, but we're not too far behind. Both healers are doing some work, but Lily's carrying the healing torch just a little bit more. But that's also a reflection of the fact that Muradin's been solo laning for a while. But unfortunately, Malfurion's also dead. So Malfurion was doing some solo laning, and I try my best to turn in some gems while I can to at least bring something to the table while our teams are covering, because this team fight up here is not going very well. Once again, it's 3 versus 1. Oh, there's Zagar saying, I need more damage out of you, Kael. I actually missed that message during the game. And here's the other issue, is that Zagara has been doing a lot of fighting with characters, and I've been doing a lot of laning with people. And like I said, this Zagar is pretty on top of things that are going on, but you're going to see that I don't necessarily always agree with her. But the important thing with quick matches is that you've got to learn to agree to disagree with some players. One of my big goals with Kael'Thas is trying to learn how to survive while at the same time contributing the damage more in the early game. And I was pretty happy with how I did at the beginning of this game. You'll notice I have a lot of siege damage, once again because I've been getting a lot of creeps and everything. So I either didn't see the message because I was too busy getting there, or I didn't really acknowledge it because it's Kael'Thas in the early game. But we do push this top lane. This tower is over there where you're not going to get a keep or anything. Once again, it is just the web weavers early. So we have Malfurion hopefully taking something out. This Zagar is... Their enemy is Zagar does really good, or the blue team Zagar does really good throughout this whole game. Oh god, this is a big mistake on my end. What I should have done was gravity lapsed our good friend Vala. I did not gravity lapse. So I got caught out of position instead because she kind of just strafed from over here where I wasn't looking. So that's not great. Like I said, I do not do things perfectly, but fortunately our Muradin has 40 gems that he can try and turn. In some reason he clicks off, which is not fantastic. But yeah, once again, the thing about quick matches is that you can't control who you team with unless you go in with people. So you just have to learn to coexist. And I disconnected here for just a moment, because that's fun. So that's where the AI is controlling up here. Fortunately, the AI didn't pick a level 13 talent for me. Because like I said, I really wanted to take Chain Bomb. Really wanted to take Chain Bomb. And I realized, wait a minute, I thought I was going towards the mid lane. I'm not near the mid lane at all. I'm nowhere near this team fight that I want to help my team with. So right now, Lost Vikings, Lily. Get everybody in here. And this is a good place for a Phoenix to at least zone some people out. And there is a good trap on them. So do we Phoenix? Do we Phoenix? There's a nice lightning breath to take out at least a few of the Lost Vikings. Alright, so there is a very nice stun to stop the strafe there. But yeah, still no Phoenix. Of course, did I take Phoenix? Yes, I did. And now I'm taking Chain Bomb as well. Like I said before, I still think that Chain Bomb is a worthwhile talent to take. If only because you're not always going to have awesome Flame Strike targets to have, but Chain Bomb usually is going to be able to hit people. Plus you can get in cast for free, so that kind of mitigates a lot of issues that Kael'Thas can have with, or not with talents, but with mana. So what do we do with our man advantage right now? We have Muradin down here kind of doing his own thing. I ping the bruiser camp because it's something I'd like to take. Honestly, I'd prefer to take the enemy bruiser camp at some point, but the game's not developed there at this point, but we do have things we need to take. We start to have need to run away, time to run away, and at least we get our web weavers back in, so that's a positive. So here's me town portaling because health is low. And if we look at the heal numbers here, once again, you can see Malfurion really starting to catch up here. Because once again, it's a matter of Malfurion was solo laning at the beginning. He didn't have a lot to heal. And now here we are. So we still... I wanted this camp before we did the turn-in, but camps disappear when you turn in, so that doesn't happen. Lost Vikings up here versus the Web Weaver. This is probably a good time to take him on. There's one chain bomb, but he goes into the Viking vessel, whose name I just suddenly forgot, the longboat. So... when your Lost Viking opponent longboats, you run. I got in a flame strike. But otherwise, just this team fight down here going, okay, we have a very excited Muradin who is just not quite able to get in the position he wants to because this is a 2 versus 4, which is not awesome. Lost Vikings up here again are pushing these towers, and they have a level advantage. They have a tower advantage. We have one Web Weaver up here that's being able to play with impunity, and I don't think anyone's going to go to defend. But I'm a little more concerned about this bottom lane, so here I come to possibly save the day. Let's see if we can get in some good living bombs again. We're looking to see, can Chain Bomb do its thing? And right now, they're on the run, which is good, and Gravity Lapse? No, we get the Chain Bomb off, and what does it do? Chain Bomb, or the living bomb goes to other people. But of course Lily there to heal it. Not too much else to say. How are we doing on damage at this point? Still 1600. Zagara has quite a bit more, which is fine. Vala on their team has a lot more. This is Kael'Thas' time to shine in fights, though, if we can actually make it happen. So finally getting the Bruiser camp a little too late. I remind the team to try and stay together, although Dark Avenger did get a kill on Jaina, which is good when you can get those in. And the other team went straight for the boss. We got our Bruiser camp, and the thing is that if we had gotten that Bruiser camp before the turn-in, we could have gone for the boss early, but as it stands, we can see the boss right here. They just get it just right now. So I still Phoenix. I should have Phoenixed further down, because now they can just run out of here, so that's a mistake. Strafe, strafe, strafe. Once again, I have an ability that can counter strafe. We have multiple stuns on this team, and I failed my team by not stunning. So very good, disable by the enemy Zagara on our healer. But right now we've traded one for, well, actually we're trading very poorly. The other team is getting all the things, but there is a living bomb going into possibly a chain bomb, possibly spreading around. There is me dying almost, but Malfurion working his ass off to save me. And between the two of us, we kill at least most of the other team. Now it is 2 versus 2.2. And we've got to take out this boss, because otherwise it's going to push this lane way too hard. I try and get one sip of the fountain. I do not get it in time. And then we're going to start having some chat controversy here. Zagara tells Diablo WTF mix it up. And here's, once again, here's the issue, is that you don't always want your players sitting there trying to aggravate other people in the game here, but you got to learn when criticism is valid too. And I'd been watching Diablo for a while. I was even laning with Diablo. And this Diablo player, I don't necessarily play tanks as much because it's something I need to get better with. But if you're going to play Diablo, you've got to be willing to get in there and take damage. You've got to be willing to initiate the fights. Diablo is one of the best initiators in the game. And as we're going to see here in a fight in just a few minutes, what our Diablo tends to do is once there's some damage going, runs. And I dive way too hard in there. I knew they were at the siege camp. And yet we do it anyway. And there's Diablo once again running off. Diablo could have gone in there. Okay, I lagged into that one. There we go. That's a good, valid excuse. I lagged into that one. Even though I knew my connection wasn't doing super awesome earlier that day, as our team is really going to eat it here. It's my responsibility to know, okay, they're probably going to the siege camp because I don't see any of the other mercs up. And they have a body advantage. I shouldn't be clicking that deep into there, even if I'm not sure. So Here's me trying to at least clarify to Diablo, because I've seen the same thing the Zagara player's seen, is that I don't like getting into team fights where one of the big initiators and one of the big bodies is excuse me, is body blocking me from doing what I need to do damage, or worse, body blocking me to escape. But fortunately this doesn't turn into a big pissing match. Okay, so we have this is where things are honestly not doing that well. I should not have died, even though I had some lag there, but at least I'm starting to do some damage. Even with the living bomb. It's too bad I don't have like a damage tracker or anything, but this is a great time for a Phoenix, and we get the Phoenix off, and there is some things starting to die. They pushed a little too hard, and I tried to at least get a little bit here. I should have saved the fountain. Oh, the fountain is saved. Once again, there's Diablo. He can charge in. He's low on health, but instead of going in there, there is a good fire breath. But the other issue is we have our Malfurion healing his ass off. Not just Diablo's, but everybody. But we got the team wipe, so you can't really complain about that. We get some turn-ins. I'm pinging like hell that we need to take their mercenaries. And their Vala is actually sitting there a little greedy. I don't know why Vala isn't just trying to fountain up and do something else. Our team, I really am an advocate, as I've played more, to take the other team's mercenaries when you get a chance. Vala didn't die from creeps. I thought she did for a second. But here's the thing about quick match. If your team kind of ignores your pings, ignores what you're trying to do, they want to push a tower, at least that's something you can do while the other team is down here. Getting the opponent's mercenaries is one of the top things you can do, because it denies them the ability to do it. And it really harasses them, because it usually comes in from bad angles. Instead of just blindly walking into here, it's already behind their front lines. So, you know what? Quick match you cannot always control. So what can you do? Now here's other people finally waking up to, oh wait, maybe we should take these things on. As you can see, I do have my little flame marker, because I did take Gathering Power. I can stop just to look at the talents for a second. Once again here with Kael'Thas, as we have the final build here. Bolt of the Storm is a good talent, but I really like taking Rebirth, at least so far. If I start getting into... I have not really had a game lately where I just wish I had Bolt of the Storm. Where there may have been like one or two times where Bolt of the Storm could have saved me. But Phoenix, I really like buffing it, because if Phoenix was on a longer cooldown than 40 seconds, it'd be different. But because I can cast Phoenix so much, getting its duration up all the time and being able to move it once per fight is just a thing of beauty, even though I was able to move it there at the end and it didn't do a whole lot, because you know how that goes. But here's mercenaries coming in from that side. There's a big push in the middle of the lane. There is Vala. Did Vala go multi-shot? This Vala did not go multi-shot. This Vala went a really different build that I'm not quite used to. But still doing some good damage, taking out a lot of our merc camps up here. And we're starting to do a lot of work. As this is really weird. Let's pause this real quick. And this bugged out for me before. We are the red team in here, but it has us listed as the blue team. So we are catching up on kills, at the very least. That's a positive. And now we're just trying to turn a little bit. The boss is up again. We could actually get the boss together here, but we gotta... Here's the other matter, is that we've got to all go in as a team, instead of foot clanning it and going in at one time. The other people are all down. This is the time to get the boss. And we still have Diablo and Malfurion working their way up. There are other teams coming online. They know we're coming to get the boss. They also have a turn-in going right now, so we're 3 short on the turn-in. And that could have been a pretty good distraction for the boss. But here we go. Here comes their team from all around. Let's pause this for just a second and break this down. Typically, what's okay for me to do on these maps is to try and just be in a position where I don't want to get hit by the big boss creep creature. But where I'm positioned right now leaves me very vulnerable, because I am the first magnet for initiation. And I'd already checked the minimap and said, hey, I can't see any of the team anywhere else. So instead, I am getting hit first, as I missed the gravity lapse because Vala moved out of the way, and I just exploded. I should not have been standing there, is really the problem. So we do at least have a... I don't know why Malfurion said nice job when most of us died. But here is where things kind of... I don't want to say they completely break down, but you want to do better with the boss that we... You want to do better with the boss than just having it walk in and die. Zagar's trying to coach anything. I'm just trying to say, okay, we still have a keep up. And of course, as soon as I type we have keeps, we lose a keep. So that tells you what I know sitting for my dead base in here. Malfurion already says good game. But here's the thing, is that we're not dead yet. They don't have a lot of damage down here. Their whole team isn't here to push. They're probably going to try and push. But I'm coming back in time. Other people are coming back in time. This is where Phoenix is really good. This is where the talented move Phoenix is really good. This is where I start to chain bomb the crap out of people, or at least try to. And because I'm aware of the fact that chain bomb changes a little bit, I'm not casting living bomb on all the same targets all the time. So you can see we're down to 62, 61 core strength, but it's not over. That's the fun part about quick matches. It's not over, even though they did get 2 keeps to our none. And see, other people are still talking. That's a nice thing, is that usually this is the point of the game where if things go a little bad, people get bitchy at each other. But at least people are willing to talk. But Zagar versus Zagar, slappy fest over here. I'm trying to clean up some of the mess. If we look at some of the stats don't matter as much, but since Zagar was complaining about my damage and experience contribution, there's that. Is it all living bomb? It's at least partially living bomb. But this Vala is just strafing like a beast. Finally hit a gravity lapse. Put a Phoenix down as well. So at least we're not going to just die. And there's Jaina. Jaina getting way too greedy there. When Diablo... There is a good... Once again, Diablo... This Diablo player is doing a very good job in the 1v1 fights. It's just when there's team fights, you want things to go a little bit differently. Look, the Lost Vikings... That is a little unbelievable right there. Lost Vikings just completely took these mercs from under our noses. That's not great at all. So I say we need to keep... But if we look at what keeps are available... If we push the top, that one's the most exposed. If we push the bottom or the middle, we still have to get through other towers. We don't push the top. We're pushing in the middle, going into some other places. So that's not all on them. I didn't check the map to see that we had gotten through the towers at the top, even though I had been there just 5 minutes ago. So level 22 versus level 23. Lost Vikings are starting to push the core again, because they can do that on their own, and actually the longbow is going from out of range. Malfurion wisely getting back. And here's the issue. Once you start losing some keeps like this, you really got to play defense. It's a little harder to turn the game on Tomb of the Spider Queen compared to some other places, because you have to do your turn-ins in the middle of the map. And the map mechanic is just not very strong. It's not going to swing the game like some other things. So they have a level advantage. No more talent advantages to speak of, but they have catapults coming in from 2 sides, and that is not easy to deal with. Once again, I'm pinging just mercenaries because I want us to take them, but we have to take this team fight first. Now, I do have Rebirth, so I can move that around there and make things really annoying. That's a very nice stun. Once again, is all I'm trying to do is move back, as we have the Chain Bomb doing damage some more. Diablo initiated and died. Malfurion is still up. I keep confusing Malfurion and Muradin for some reason. So I try and do the Pro MLG Flame Strike and fail. Was really hoping I could hit Vala there. So here we go. They're going for mercenaries again. It's still level 23 versus level 23. There's one hero down to 2, so they have an advantage, but it's anybody's game just the same. Phoenix is so good for these areas, and as much as you don't want... see, there's chain bombs still going off. It's not going to spread all the time everywhere, but it's still doing good as Malfurion gets off his ultimate heal. Lost Vikings still on the way, but we did get a Merc camp. We did get 3 kills. This is the time to come back. This is the time to push and try and come back. People say boss again, and unfortunately I died. I didn't even watch how I died other than just Val was pumping in too much damage. But that death really hurts our team because if you look once again, we're in the realm of I'm a very big damage contributor to our team. Pretty much for all of our team, I'm the only person that's the dedicated damage guy. At least in terms of builds, so that's not fantastic. But they have a few people down. We can get the boss here. But once we get the boss, we actually have to do something with it. And we have our team not staying together is the other issue. Biggest thing, once you get the level 20s and so, you've got to stay together. Malfurion could have healed through some of that. Murden could have possibly stunned some of that if he was there before. But as it is, we have the leashed... we have the leash damage reset, and here's a boss that we're not going to get now, which is unfortunate. But could have things been different had I lived? Absolutely. But now that we're down 2 heroes, we're not taking the boss with all of them there. It's time to play defense. Our core is already under threat. There are catapults everywhere, and that's not what we like to see. So we don't want the catapults just beating on our Anubis-style tower. So that's what we're going to try and avoid. Because once again, catapults, if you don't manage the catapults, they will lose the game. But they also have a boss coming for us. And a boss and a team at level 24 with your core at only 51 and no shield. That's not great, especially with 2 of our heroes down. People have got to escape. This Zagara is just working to try and get back. I run up here. I make what I feel is the play I have to make, and unfortunately I get stunned right in the middle of there. So what I should have done was possibly hanged back. Instead, I try and be really aggressive. The boss is the biggest threat at this point. But see how much damage we're just taking from everyone now? That's the boss almost entirely. So I played it very poorly at the end there, and I think my death cost us getting the boss, which sucks. But just the same, even though I didn't play that particularly perfectly, it was still 33 to 35 kills, still a pretty even matchup. And if we look at the stats here, I was able to push out some damage even by taking the Living Bomb build instead of just the Ignite Flame Strike extra range build. So I think Living Bomb is still viable. It's not broken. So maybe it is more of a patch bug fix instead of a straight up nerf. But that's it for now. This is Asher. I'm not always going to show you wins, but at least that was a game that was pretty close. I think I threw it at the end for the team, unfortunately. But, you know, you play, you learn, you get better. Thanks for watching. See you next time.